Hello, and a warm welcome to This Woman's Work, a space where you can hear and read about some amazing women, the fantastic jobs they do, and the paths that have led them to where they are today. I'm here today with Jody. Hi, Jody.
Hi.
Could you tell the listener what it is you do for a living?
Okay, so I'm a medical herbalist.
Brilliant. Which we'll go into. But before we do, we're going to check all the way back to little Jody.
Okay.
When you were younger, what were you like? What were you into?
So I'm the youngest of 4 siblings. So anything I was into, I was really influenced by my siblings.
Say, yeah.
Definitely.
And obviously, because obviously I know your siblings, I'll declare that now. Because Matt, what's the age gap between you and him?
11 years.
Yeah, so that's quite a big age gap as well, isn't it?
And then 10 years between me and Tim.
Yeah.
And then 7 between me and TJ.
Yeah.
So I think I'm a mixture of the 3 of them.
Ah.
They definitely influenced me. And even now, I would say so. So as a child, I think I was creative. I was probably always making something, doing art. Definitely creative.
Yeah.
But even though I had 3 siblings, I think I was quite on my own. So yes, I think I was probably quite quiet. Yeah. Creative and quiet.
Okay. And then at school then, what were your favourite subjects and things like that?
Art.
Yeah.
I think I was probably told that I was good at art. Yeah. And I think as a child, if you're told you're good at something, you do sort of tend to roll with it.
Yeah.
And actually, perhaps there were some other things I could have been good at, but that sort of overshadowed. And I think it was like, okay, well, you're going to do this because you're good at that.
Yeah, okay.
And that definitely was a thing. Yeah. I think I could have been good at other things, but I just sort of
went down, quickly put you in a box.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so then... and what were your friendships and everything? Well, even though you were quite at home, did you have?
Yeah, I had. So I went to a very small primary school. I think there was maybe 5 in our year. Very small. Very, very close best friend that I took through many years with me. Good friendships at school, secondary school. I felt like I had lots of friends, but perhaps not a core group of friends.
Yeah.
Which I've carried on into adulthood. Yeah. And actually I'm very happy with being like that. That suits me.
But you've just described you've been on your own and that kind of thing. So that's what you know, isn't it?
Yeah, and I don't... Yeah, I like to have sort of friendships and acquaintances with lots of people. I don't
but
need
you
to
also
have...
value your own time as well.
Yeah, exactly. So so that was through secondary school. You know, got on with all the groups, but wasn't perhaps a member of one. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Fair enough, and that's great. And then college, did you go on?
I did, but I also worked, and work was amazing, earning money.
Yeah.
And also, so at school, I don't know if you remember, but careers advice was really poor.
Yeah, secretary, doctor, dentist.
Well, you had that computer program.
Yeah.
And you answered the questions, and I can remember it clearly sitting in the room answering these questions. And one of the questions was, do you like animals? And I can remember saying yes. This is the only... I pinpoint it to that question because the job that came out at the end was fishmonger.
Stop it.
It was. Fishmonger. And then...
What?
I did it. It gave you 2 job options. The other job option was a bus conductor. And I think that's because I said I like to travel.
And that's as far as the coding went on that?
And that was it. That was all the careers advice.
So you were basically...
That was it.
The system
bus conductor. Yeah.
You, wow.
And that was it.
Okay, and what did you do with that?
I've really clung on to that because it's just that there was a real lack of guidance, I think, in the 90s at school. And also growing up here in Rutland, we're very sheltered.
Yeah.
And unless
it's very trad here, isn't it?
Yeah. And unless you're exposed to lots of different jobs and things like that, you just don't at 16 you don't know what you can do.
Hence what I was saying about this podcast and
Yeah.
everything else, it's just sort of, unless you're in that, a lot of it is even now, unless you know someone that does.
Oh, yeah, there
A
wasn't...
lot of, even today, I don't think there's so many jobs out there that people just don't know about. And I think unless you know what you're looking for,
Yeah.
and you type the right thing into a search engine now, it's still really difficult.
You do need to know what you're looking for. So I say to my children, I really sort of tell them there's so many options, or if we see something on the TV, and I'll say, you can do these things.
Yeah.
Because teenagers need guidance. I know they don't particularly want to listen.
They need options,
but
don't
they do. Yeah, they need to be shown what's out there.
Yeah.
And I definitely wasn't. So I kind of left school not really knowing what I wanted to do. Starting A-levels in art, graphics, photography. So all the art subjects.
Yes,
because as I said, that's what I thought I wanted to do. I don't think I was particularly academic at secondary school because I really loved school, but it was more just the sort of social side.
Yeah, that's all right.
And also it wasn't very inspiring. The teachers weren't particularly inspiring. I think I could have really loved science, but it was just a bit drab at that time. But I was head girl at school, which I think is quite an important thing to say.
That is a really important thing. You've not painted that picture prior to that.
And so I don't really know how I became head girl, because you'd think it was very academic and all of these things, but actually I think it's because I got on really well with the teachers and I knew how to speak to adults, and I've got, a bit of a sense of humour, so I could chat to them.
I can't remember how you even people got shortlisted for head girl.
I got requested to have an interview. So I was picked to have an interview.
By teachers or by your
teachers.
Yeah, okay.
They did do a student vote.
Yes.
And we had an interview.
Yeah.
The only thing I can remember from the interview is they asked me what I would do to change the school, and I said, we need some new Bunsen burners.
Wow.
There must have been something going on.
Practical.
So I did get that, and I think it was a shock to everybody, really, but I did get that. But I think it was probably on personality rather than anything else.
And also, like you've painted, they knew you got on with lots of people.
Yeah, I think I was quite level.
You were quite a good...
and I did all the drama. Yeah. And, I was involved in school life, which they love.
Yeah.
And my brother Tim was head boy when he was there 10 years earlier. So
there you go.
Yeah, so I don't know if that was part of it, but... So despite all that, I did leave school with not really knowing what I wanted to do, and then I started working.
Oh, so you completed college? Or...
No.
Okay,
I worked alongside college.
Yeah.
And really loved working.
Yeah.
And not my A-levels.
Yeah.
So I continued with working, and I thought I'll go down the route of working, because it was very much accepted at 16 then to work. You didn't have to do
Whereas
education.
Now you legally have to stay in it.
Yeah.
Well, even you can do apprenticeships now, which are they're having a resurgence.
To 18, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
So, I was just swayed by earning that money. And as soon as you start earning money, it's very difficult to stop earning money.
But equally, as we've said, your siblings are probably now earning money, aren't they?
Yeah.
So they're all... So it's...
Maybe I always wanted to be older.
Yeah.
And out there.
Yeah.
So I got a job. I'd been doing a part-time job locally for financial advisors, and I managed to get a job at Prudential in Reading, working in pensions. And I was quite young, so I relocated down there, and I thought, okay, so my sister's there, great, it's a big step from here.
Yeah.
Reading's, it's a bigger place, there's things going on, it gets me into that. So I then spent a good few years working in financial services, moved to London, worked in the city, and did that for a while.
Yeah.
I then started a nursing degree.
Wow.
In London. Halfway through that, I became pregnant with my first child.
Okay.
Really.
So you were working and doing a nursing degree?
No, I was just doing a nursing degree.
Okay.
So I decided that it was time to try and take on some education, really.
But equally... That's still quite a healing thing, isn't it? So maybe that somehow, part of your true self was coming out then.
It definitely was.
Because you hadn't, like you say, you didn't back then. You didn't even know the job you do now existed, did you? So it was just kind of like
not at all. Yeah. And actually, nursing was probably the calling that I had. Actually, if I'd known at school, I'd have definitely wanted to study. I would have wanted to do medicine, definitely. But it would never have been considered, because I perhaps portrayed myself as somebody that wouldn't have been able to do that at
Yeah.
that time. So then when I thought, okay, so nursing is an option, and actually I was really good at it.
Yeah.
It was something that I was good at.
Again, the people skills.
And I loved it. I loved being in the hospital, and I loved
fixing
anything
people.
medical.
Yeah.
So I did that, but unfortunately things changed. Things in my life changed, and we relocated to Bristol from London, and I had my child, and then I had my second child, and that life choice went. I had to move on from that. But it always stayed with me. I learned a lot even in that time. And actually, that experience I had helped me get onto my degree in herbal medicine. I used that.
Because it was like an untapped, I've not quite ticked that.
And I've got paperwork of the things that I did and the things that I did in the hospital and stuff. So it gave me, it was a great, even though I didn't complete that, it did help me with this.
It was a good foundation.
Yes, definitely.
Okay, so then you've got your kids. You're in Bristol.
Yeah.
Where do we go from here?
So we relocated up to here. So I'd got 2 small children, and I moved back here due to personal circumstances with them. They were 3 and 1 at that time. Shortly after that, my eldest son, he was diagnosed with a health problem that meant that he was having treatment at Great Ormond Street Hospital.
Wow.
So that started when he was 3. Yes, 3. And that continues to this day. So with regards to work, it became... I did start working. I was employed here. But I needed loads of time off for his hospital appointments, his treatment. It changed things. And I was that's fine. But I realised I needed to be self-employed. Yeah. To be able to look after my children and manage this health condition, I needed to be self-employed. So again, I returned to the creative side of me, and I saw that there was a course in Melton at Brooksby for a BTEC, professional qualification in floristry. Yeah. So I took that. I spent a year, full-time course, brilliant course. I loved it. I'm not going to say I love flowers. Okay. I like them.
Yeah.
I like the creativity of the floristry. Yes, it's not because I'm looking at a flower and feel emotional about it.
Yeah, yeah.
As some people who go into floristry do.
Yes, yeah.
But maybe that's why I was quite good at it, because I looked at it from a design point of view rather than from the flower. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I went with that, and it meant that I did a year of that, and then I knew that I could be self-employed as a florist.
Yeah.
So I started that, went really well, spiralled really quickly. The business went really well. Lots of weddings. Yeah. To the point where we thought, okay, we can take on a premises. So we had a flower shop in Oakham, which we opened in October 2019.
Right. Wow. Yeah.
And then March 2020.
Yes.
COVID happened. So we had to decide to close that, and actually I feel that that was a really positive decision. And obviously now things are fine and it doesn't matter, but there is a sort of feeling of guilt there. I feel like I failed.
Yeah, it's the feeling.
But
yeah,
I can't. It's just how it was. It was out of my hands.
It's acts of God, isn't it?
But I do feel like I failed, and I do feel bad for my family because I put them through so much to get the shop ready, to then it's not be there anymore.
But you did that based on completely different information.
Yeah. So I suppose if COVID hadn't have happened, we would still have the shop and we'd still be going ahead with that, and we'd still be running the floristry business. But anyway, that did happen. And then I fell pregnant with my 3rd child during lockdown.
Wow.
And that was a very complex situation. And then my son was 12 days old, and he had a severe episode which led us into hospital, and then we found out that he has a heart condition. So that also changed my journey of work. So having two children with complex health needs means that the need for me to be self-employed is quite strong.
Yeah.
It's very difficult to be employed and then need time off for appointments and for surgeries and for it's a lot to manage.
Yeah.
So I love being self-employed, and actually it was great. It's a good thing as well, because it's given me direction.
Yes. Yeah.
So I had my third child, and I did not want to sit at home for 3 years before he gets his free childcare, his 15 hours of free childcare, doing nothing. I just couldn't do it. I needed to use my brain.
Yeah.
So I thought, okay, what can I do during this time to help me be either employed in the future or be self-employed in the future? And I don't know what made me look into it, but I researched into herbal medicine, and I know the only reason I know about herbal medicine is because of the shop on Mill Street on Nature's Dispensary.
Yes, yeah.
My flower shop was next door.
Right.
But I didn't know she was a medical herbalist.
Yeah.
But I can remember going there from a child, and I adore that shop.
Yeah.
And I think I've always adored things like that. And I think I can remember when I was a child, I perhaps had I think it was called White Magic, and it was sort of spells and things in there. And it was all natural remedies. Yes. And I loved that. And I was quite young. So I just started researching into it, and it happened to come up with a course at Lincoln. And I spoke to my husband, I thought I could do this.
Yeah.
And it's a career degree. They class it as a career degree. So it's a Bachelor of Science with honours. So it's a fantastic degree, but it is career driven. So you do a module that is about marketing your business. And we had a clinic at Lincoln where we see patients, and you had to complete 500 hours of patient-facing clinic time.
Amazing.
So for the past 3 years, I've worked in a herbal medicine clinic.
Wow.
And that experience is the best thing that I've ever done. And it's just the most fantastic thing.
So you loved the course.
I just loved it. Absolutely loved it. So I managed to get onto that course. I didn't think I would, because I haven't got A-levels. But because I'd got my nursing experience, and that definitely helped. And I was just, in my interview, I was just very passionate about the fact that I would have my interest in medicine, and perhaps that's an area that I would have gone if I could have done and explained all my situation. I did get a place.
Wow.
But I must say that adult learning is so incredible.
Is it?
That I would recommend anybody, if they are able to. It is a personal thing, isn't it? If you've got the time and things like that. But if you're able to access education in your 40s or whatever, or older.
Yeah.
Because it is just so brilliant for your mental health, for your cognitive development. It just is.
But I guess also you're going to be, like you said at school, you're just going through the motions, doing what you need to do.
Yeah, you're just told.
You're choosing a topic.
And actually,
it's learning with choice, isn't it?
Yeah, and you get. It is choice, but you're so experienced with life that you can put that into your studies. And that's brilliant. So I'm drawing from all sorts of experience to be able to then be able to write and things like that. And your resilience of being able to do the course, which it can be challenging at time dealing with
three kids at home,
you're probably able to better. But so anybody I speak to, I'm always like, there's so much, and there is funding available to lots of different people as well. So if it's something that you want to do, any kind of study, I really recommend that you search into it. Don't think that time's gone, because for many years I thought I'm never going to be able to get a degree. That's gone. I missed out on that. But actually, I have been able to.
So how long was the course?
3 years.
3 years.
So I used the 3 years when I had a baby and a toddler at home to do the degree. So I started when my baby was 6 months old,
Wow. And you were commuting there?
Yes, so it's teaching. It's a career degree, so it's set up that you do one teaching weekend a month.
Okay.
So I went to Lincoln Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I travelled each day.
Yeah. Wow.
One teaching weekend a month. And then you did your clinic hours around that as well, so your 500 hours over the 3 years. So that worked really well. So you can plan it.
Yeah.
And it is brilliant. So brilliantly, my husband did use his holidays to be able to take the time off, to be able to look after the children. Not all the time. Sometimes it worked out that he was already here. But I was really able to throw myself into the course. Obviously, I'd still had 3 children at home, and I did still do some floristry. But I do feel very lucky that I was able to do that. And then it means that my youngest now has his free childcare, it's 15 hours, and next year he starts school.
Yeah.
I've done my degree, and I'm ready to now be working.
Yeah.
So I did time it. It wasn't all planned out to be like that. It's not accidental.
Yeah.
I just thought, right, 3 years, I'll do my study, and then I can work.
Brilliant. So I guess this is what's interesting about this, and I said this to you when I first sort of asked you, is so when you qualified in the summer, didn't you?
Yes.
So what is the plan now then?
So I'm a qualified registered medical herbalist.
Yeah.
So I see patients either online or in person.
Yeah.
And the plan is to be able to reach as many people as possible with herbal medicine. I would really like to be running it so it's mainly online.
Okay.
The purpose is because I'd like to think that in the future I could be anywhere in the world and still see patients.
Yeah.
That's the dream, really.
Sort of online consultations.
Yeah, online consultations are brilliant. So during the clinic time at college, 50% was within clinic in person. The other 50 was online.
Yeah.
So we're really trained in it. So we know how to run a clinic online. And also COVID helped that along because lots of appointments were online, even with your GP.
I know you have a little life in you yet. I know you have a lot of strength left. I know you have a little life in you yet. I know you have a lot of strength.
That's what I'd like to do, but I'm really lucky in the sense that I've got a clinic room locally now in Melton, which means that I can see patients in person on a Saturday. And then for now, during the week, it's online. But hopefully in the future, I might take on another day that's in person. But
we were saying this, won't we, off mic, maybe in another...
Yeah, in another
location.
town.
That kind
exactly.
Of thing.
And
wherever
that's
the
great.
kind of need takes you, basically.
Yeah, and there's flexibility in that. What I don't want is the overheads and the responsibility of my own premises.
You don't want to go back there.
I'm not going back there.
Yeah. So it very much is see how it organically, where
definitely
it
organically
takes you.
Yes, definitely. So patients can come to me for a herbal medicine consultation.
Yeah.
Which is a brilliant service and should be accessible to everybody.
And on the NHS.
It would be great. Or, some kind of private health cover that, uses it. It would be amazing. It would be amazing. So I love orthodox medicine. My dream is that herbal medicine and orthodox medicine can work side by side.
Absolutely.
We do. So we can liaise with your GPs. We can liaise with all your healthcare team.
Yeah.
And we often do. But it would be great to be able to see it a bit more amalgamated.
Yeah.
But when you come and see me, so you have a 90-minute initial consultation, which is the benefit that people get from just speaking about their own health for 90 minutes is just wonderful.
Yeah. You don't get that.
You don't get
what,
it.
You get 6 minutes with a GP?
Yeah, and I can see why that is.
And why they can't diagnose you properly. What can you achieve in 6 minutes?
And that's fine, and that's how that is, and it is terrible for them that's and all of us that's the situation we're in. But seeing a medical herbalist, it's such an in-depth look at your health that you leave often feeling better or already because we help you put your health in order. We look back in your medical history and we ask you all sorts of questions that really make you think about your health. So my aim with being a medical herbalist is to help people become more in control of their health.
Yeah.
We've lost that as a society. We should be looking to look after
we
ourselves.
Processed foods, all sorts
exactly.
of things.
So nutrition plays a big part in what we do as well. And there's so much information out there, so much noise about wellness and supplements and what you should be doing. But as medical herbalists, something that's good for one person isn't necessarily for the other.
Oh my God. I mean, again, I know we were talking very briefly, like being perimenopausal and reading about all the different things you can take. But then you Google that and there's a whole plethora of supplements there going, which one do I buy? Which, you know, this kind of thing.
And people are able to buy those off the shelves or order them, but that might not be right for you.
Exactly,
and also,
it might be the right dose, it might not be the right formulation.
And if you're taking other medicines, we are trained as medical herbalists to help guide you through that. We know what herbs and drugs interact. Ooh. And we are fully trained. So we would say...
So if somebody say on like heart medication or blood
we would
pressure,
know straight away what not to give you.
Yeah. Wow.
But people aren't realising that, and it is a worry. We are trained in depth for that. Our training is very similar to medical doctors in the sense that our diagnostic techniques are the same as medical doctors' training. But we do have that element where we know the herbs so well, but we also know orthodox medicine so well, and we're able to guide people and make sure that people are choosing things that are safe for them.
Yeah.
That is a concern. So, back to wanting people to take their control of their own health also means that if they feel that they've got health imbalance, they're able to perhaps be able to work out where that's coming from themselves. Because if you're more in tune with yourself and your health, and preventative healthcare is what's going to help society.
Oh my God, yes.
And I believe that herbal medicine is a form of preventative healthcare.
Yeah.
So you can come to me with your health imbalances, but alongside that, you will gain such a better understanding of your own individual health. Not something you've Googled or something your friends said they've got and it sounds like you've got the same thing. It's your individual health.
We've all done it.
Yeah, exactly. And that is really, what's the word?
Empowering.
Yeah, empowering. You leave the appointment and you think, okay, so you feel in more control. Polypharmacy is a huge issue where people are on elderly people are on such a
plethora of drugs, and no one is independently looking at that going, well, that's going to conflict with that, and that's going to conflict with that, and that's.
We look at all the medical history, and we always say we need to have a list of your medicines, and you get a really good health review. Yeah. No, we're not doctors, but we have got training in anatomy, physiology, in disease, in orthodox medicines, in herbal medicines, in nutrition, and lifestyle advice is huge.
Yeah.
Sometimes you feel a little bit like you're being patronising offering lifestyle advice, but actually sometimes you're offering something that just makes the patient think about it a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, it is tricky, particularly if you're, obviously telling someone to move more. It's always a tricky subject, isn't it? But if you're telling someone to eat less of something they really like,
that's really
interesting. Let's face it today, bread and or dairy, like cheese. Like my mum bloody loves cheese. Cheese does not like my mum.
Yeah.
And but you cannot... She's of that generation. She's like, well, I've always had it. I'm just going to keep it. It's like, it's probably causing you a lot of problems. And trying to encourage someone like that.
It is very difficult. So I have a very different approach with nutrition. So we do discuss everybody's nutrition and we will advise on supplements and things like that. I never tell somebody to stop eating something.
Okay.
So even if I know that it's not the correct thing for them to be eating, I will never tell them to stop eating it.
Yeah, okay.
I will tell them the things they should be eating. And over time, it should stop them eating the things that it changes your views, and you are then very focused on the things that you should be eating rather than the things that you shouldn't be eating.
Oh, interesting.
And I feel like I have much better communication around their diet as well.
Yeah.
Because you want, when you say, okay, tell me what you eat in the day, you want them to be really honest, but often people aren't, because they're ashamed of the things they're choosing.
Yeah.
So my first question I ask is, what is your favourite thing you like to eat in the world? What if you could have anything now, what is it? Most people will say chocolate or cheese or something, and then we have a bit of a discussion around, a light-hearted discussion around what that is and things. And it just, people do get nervous about talking about what they eat, and it just takes that away, because they've already told me and I've not judged them for it. And that's really important, to be able to build up that good therapeutic relationship with your patient. They need to trust you, and I need to not be judging them to get the best results for their health. That is really, really vital. Yes. So I often find that then they're quite open, because they've already told me the worst thing.
How interesting.
So it does work, I think. And I think it's just nicer, because I think people genuinely dread that bit of the consultation. Talking about their diet. And often people are quite, they'll say, oh, I know it's really bad, And I'll say, actually, it isn't. It's okay. But let's add this in, and this will help your, these symptoms. Let's see how we get on. Or let's substitute this for this. It's very similar, but, and it's just a nicer way of approaching it, rather than saying, you need to stop eating chocolate. That's not going to get anybody anywhere.
Well, no, because then it just makes, if you make something that's really fundamentally quite pleasurable with food, say a chore or really negativity, it can really affect someone's mental health, can't it?
Oh, definitely.
And let's face it, as a society, globally, but definitely in the Western world, we have a very odd relationship with food, definitely processed food and everything else.
Processed food is definitely a problem.
And
also, but it's also offering solutions to people's, as an individual. So it's pointless me giving everybody a meal plan for the week that involves cooking chicken and broccoli 3 times a week. That's not right for everybody. So it's the same as picking what supplement or herbs right for you as an individual. Everybody needs different things in their diet depending on who they are. So somebody eating chicken and broccoli all week might be great for somebody, but not for somebody else. And you'll be then fat deficient.
Some people really like smoothies, don't they? Things like that. Other people
haven't got the time or the money to be buying organic. It's pointless me saying to somebody, you must only eat organic fruit and veg, because we haven't got the money for it. So so nutrition, lifestyle, and then the herbal. So often we have patients in, and nutrition and lifestyle has the biggest effects, and it's just helping make them aware. But if we're going to then turn to herbal medicine prescriptions, there's so many options out there, like I said, but it is key to see a medical herbalist to make sure you're getting the right things. I source my herbal medicines from a local company, which is just incredible. They make the most amazing tinctures, herbal tinctures, in Rutland. And I'm just so thrilled that I can just order and go and pick it, and it's been grown and locally produced biodynamically in Rutland. Is just amazing, and the quality of their tinctures is beautiful. So that is a real unique part to what I do as well, is that I'm choosing to use that. So you can have a herbal tincture, which is the plant is in alcohol, and the alcohol is what extracts the medicinal benefits and the chemical constituents.
You see, if you just promoted that more, a lot of people would just promoting alcohol.
It is only a tiny amount that you take.
I'll take it.
But that is the most, you get brilliant benefits from that. And then obviously there's herbal teas and things like that we use. There's capsules that we can make. So the main thing to get across really about a medical herbalist is we treat the root cause. Well, we don't treat. We assess the root cause, and our approach is directed at that. So we don't treat symptoms. We try and work out what's causing those symptoms, and we assess that, which is different to orthodox medicines as such. But we've got the time to be able to do that. That's the thing. Gathering a really good medical history. We do diagnostic techniques, as I said. So we take your blood pressure and your pulse. We assess your pulse. So we really listen to it, and we feel it, and we interpret that. So Western herbal medicine, which is my training, is a amalgamation of lots of different traditional medicines. And we use lots of different techniques from all over the world and historically, as well as our own from the UK.
Yeah.
So we also check the tongue. So I would ask my patients to show me their tongue, and we assess the tongue, and we can read so much into that. We ask you whether you're a hot or a cold person, because that makes a massive difference into who you are as a person, how your body is functioning.
Yes.
And also what herbs we give, because some herbs are cooling and some herbs are heating. So the approach we take is so in depth of the way we look at you as a person. Yeah, it is incredible. And if you're interested in it as a patient, we can tell you all of that. And that is really, it's very interesting. It often triggers.
But that must feel, like you say, the engagement from that, because you feel like you're getting something that's so bespoke for you and so right for you, that, let's face it, you never have that feeling from just traditional pharmaceutical medicine, because you know it's a kind of
it can't
one size fits all.
Exactly.
It has to be.
And that is brilliant. But there are areas where this approach really helps. So I would say, asking you if you're a hot or cold person, it really makes people think, and it gives me so much information, just that one question, and then my treatment approach for you. So I think it's really unknown what we do.
Yeah.
But it's actually a really lovely experience.
Yeah.
90 minutes talking about yourself and your health and your medical history, and then, things that make you feel good or things that make you feel bad, or then how you're physically feeling, how you sleep. We're assessing everything all the time. And it just gives us such a great picture of your health, and be able to share that with you so that you've got a better understanding.
Yeah. Oh my God, I'm in. When I was in before I even got here. But even like I was sitting across from you, there's just so many people I want that in my
I think,
that I want to talk to, that I want them to talk to you.
Yeah, and often that is often said to me. People will say, "Oh, I've told so and so about you," or "I've told my friend about you."
And then as I'm saying it, I'm thinking, bloody hell, but would they do it? And then I'm going to get annoyed if they don't do it.
It's really,
I really want them to do it.
I do understand how hard it is to book an appointment. It feels herbal medicine is people. It gathers strong reactions. So people are either against it, think it doesn't work, or people love it, or people perceive medical herbalists in a certain way. So sometimes I get a comment, where's your cauldron? Or what your spells, and I find it really disrespectful. I find it really disrespectful, because my degree is a science degree. It's a Bachelor of Science degree. I got a first in it. I've studied anatomy and physiology and disease to such a level, and botany. So it's not just that. We're also studying the plants and how they grow, and the chemical constituents and the medicinal benefits of them. We study the history. Those sort of comments, some people like that. Some herbalists are very much do go in that direction. That's wonderful for them. But for me, I want to work with orthodox medicine. I want to follow the medical model, but incorporate herbal medicine into it.
Yeah.
So it's trying to get it out there in a positive way.
Yeah.
And everybody's entitled to their opinion, and that's absolutely fine. But all I can do is tell you what herbal medicine can do for you, and try and encourage people just to have that initial consultation, because, like I said, it is empowering, and it's just wonderful to be able to talk about yourself for 90 minutes. Hormonal health is a huge area where herbal medicine can really help. So there's plants out there that are phytoestrogens, so they mimic estrogen, and they can be used in a certain way, can really help balance your hormones.
Yeah.
And even so, whether you're adolescents or whether you're going through perimenopause or menopause or postmenopause or even reproductive health, so that area, hormonal health, is a really big area for herbal medicine. Lots of people approach medical herbalists when going through something with regards to hormones.
Not enough people, because again, the route is just go and get HRT.
As I said, we're trained to be able to prescribe herbal medicine safely alongside your orthodox medicine.
Yes.
And that can also have brilliant results in the sense that the side effects you're experiencing with your orthodox medicine could be helped by some herbal medicine, or there's all sorts out there. Our dispensary is huge.
Yeah.
We can help with so many things, and it's just trying to get that out there.
I don't want to ask you so many more questions, but I'm not going to. I'll ask you my 3 final questions, if that's all right. So, question 1 is always, is there any life advice you would give your younger self? And I'm going to guess it probably is. But it could be any version of your younger self.
I would start thinking of careers and researching myself in teen years.
Okay.
But also be fully aware that you don't have to choose your career at 18.
Yeah.
Choose something that you want to do, but that can give you some security given the world we live in, some financial security. But
try and find something that really lights you up or something.
But at that stage. But don't think you need to be stuck in it forever.
The second question is what do you think your older self would say to you now? Bit of advice or some guidance? 65-year-old Jody, what would she say to you now?
Maybe to focus on this. I don't know.
Just to give it your all?
Yeah. And not, actually, I know what it'd be. Not to be focused on my age. I'm very focused on my age. I feel like there's not much. I feel like my time's been and gone. Yeah. And I feel like life is going very quickly. So I often think to myself, am I too old to be doing this? Am I too old to be starting this? So actually, I've got years of work.
Society does for women.
Years of work, yeah. But that would
what
be
you do. You could do it until you die.
Yeah, I said this the other day.
You might be doing it for another 40, 50 years.
Oh, people will be happy to... I'm sure people would still be happy to have that health and medical advice from somebody
that's wise
older.
And experienced.
Yeah, definitely. Maybe I'll come into my own. I feel better already.
And then the final question is always just some advice to throw out into the world. Anyone that's listening, a mantra, anything you just really believe in that you would like other people to take note of.
I do think just try and be your true self, block out the noise as much as possible and don't just do what you think you should be doing because of society. You don't have to follow the norms. And actually, maybe that has changed a bit and you don't need to as much these days. But I feel like when we were growing up, it was, you had to leave school, have an education, get a job, get married, have children, buy a house, and you had to follow it in a certain order. And I can remember thinking at 16, I don't want to follow that order. I want to do things as I want. Actually, it really put me off following all of that. I didn't want to do that. I don't want to follow the norm. So I think that's what I would say.
That's good advice.
Yes.
On that note, I'm going to say thank you very much, Jody.
Thank you.
If you would like to hear more about this chat, see some pics and read about how to get started in this industry and or this role, then please go to our website www.thiswomanswork.org. The link is on this podcast page and across our socials. Sincere thanks.